All right, thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
All right, you are Cora Chung, and you are a composer.
Yeah.
All right, so thanks for coming on. I do like to ask anything to add to that.
It sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so composer. Oh, I believe on your website you have yourself described as a composer and
a cellist.
A cellist.
Yeah.
Okay. So just to clarify what a cellist is.
So a musician who plays cello.
Cello.
Yeah.
Because I am not a musician, and when I think about instruments, I always get confused between violin and the big,
really?
and like the giant big one.
Oh, that's a double bass.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know. So cool. Cello. I might have to Google that later. But no, I've seen you play it before, like on Instagram and stuff. But regardless, yes, I wanted to talk about. I mentioned composer, but just to clarify, that's for the screen. I don't know if there's any other kind of composers, but composer can kind of sound kind of general, but you compose music for films.
Yeah, actually just anything about commercial stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like video games, or maybe just commercial. Yeah.
Yeah.
But mostly I do is short films, and I have another things coming up. Well, film is coming up. Very exciting.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
How?
Like for now it's mostly short film, but coming up bigger projects. Good.
Okay, you've already got some stuff in lined up for the new year.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. Lucky. Very cool.
Hopefully everything will work well.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing too,
Yeah.
because I mean that's.
I believe you have stuff working on now, right?
Yeah, I've got some stuff. We've all got plans.
Yeah.
And well, yeah, like you said, hopefully stuff
Your
continues
feature
to
film.
work out. My feature film is set to come out soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You exciting?
Yeah, so it's what's on the inside. My feature debut film. It's going on 2 years since 2 years ago around this time I was writing the project. So it's been a long road. So it's kind of like a weird feeling in terms of like it's finally coming out.
Is it supposed to come last
I
year?
don't know. I mean, ideally, let's say if I had a bigger budget, which is always the thing that that we wish I had, but like it likely would have been able to come out last year, but because the indie ways and me learning the process of like distribution and all that kind of stuff, it's coming out this year.
How would you like to distribute?
I don't know. That's the point for me is it's weird releasing a film in the pandemic and at all.
It is.
Where it's like I can't have a big fancy premiere to even show it off and like get the energy in the room of people reacting to it. It's just like, here it is streaming on some platforms and check it out. And so there's a little bit of unfulfilledness on my side, but maybe on the next one I'll get the full experience. But I wanted to talk to you. Let's start from kind of like, I think you recently posted on social media about favorite moment of 2020 or biggest moment of 2020 for you on the positive side of things, and you mentioned that it was getting accepted into some Sundance fellowship.
Yes.
So, which is awesome. Congrats.
Amazing. Well, I'm lucky. I believe there's so many talented people out there. I'm just so lucky to get selected, I would say.
Yeah. No, for sure. How I wanted to hear. Okay, so pretty much just to lay it out there for people, this is a yearly submission. Like this is something Sundance does every year.
Yeah.
Once a year.
Yeah, but this year the program is postponed because the COVID situation. So now they change the program to the other program. So yeah, for film music and New Frontier, and what's the other one? There's a free program got postponed this year.
Because normally they do all of their labs like in person. You get like hands-on experience.
Yeah, so like normally before pandemic, you can go to Skywalker Ranch, which is amazing. Yeah, but this year we just do it online.
All right, so
but still amazing,
Sure.
I'll say.
So stuff. So you're still. What is it considered? Is it a lab or what? I think you called it a fellowship. Is that the same thing as a lab? Or
yeah, it's actually the same.
Sound design lab.
So I would say it's more like a school. So basically, we have class every day. A sort of class. So we have different mentor coming, and we have private lessons, and we also have group lessons, and we talk about film. We have homework every day. We need to write lots of cues and watch lots of stuff, talk about our projects. And we also pair to different directors and projects. And we also had our own sound design with Skywalker people. It's really amazing.
So
I would say like it's an advanced film school.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
100%. So I want to jump into all of that. Or maybe we should start from, I don't know, there's talking about the application process and what it was like going through that with Sundance, which I think, like, I'm interested in because of, like, a lot of people submit, like you kind of said, there's a lot of competition for labs and there's a lot of great experience to be gained if you get accepted in. Again, congrats. So I'm curious to hear about how that was going through it. And
yeah, I feel like different, maybe like for director or screenwriter, it'll be more competitive because there's more people. And for film music, we go without projects, but most of lab they have projects. So like director lab, they come with the projects already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think they will be more difficult. I don't know.
As for a director.
Maybe.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And for music, actually, I don't know how I got it. Actually. So basically, you just submit few tracks. There's no pictures, just music.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they would just blind choose, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, they listen to it.
Yeah, they listen to it, but I don't know how they really pick people.
Were there stages where you got like a notification that, hey, you're in consideration to receive this and we want to talk to you more and interview you and get to know you?
No, there's no...
It was just like, you got it.
Yeah, Peter... the program was Sundance Lab, from film music program, and he just called me. I just cannot believe. He's just like, I want to invite you to our lab. Yeah, I think that's the best day last year.
Yeah, no, that's huge. That's interesting though. That you submit your pieces, and
yeah, I'm very surprised actually because compared to the other fellow, I was the most green one because I just got here for a few years and I haven't done anything super huge. But and lots of my fellow is so amazing. They've already done lots of stuff. So I just feel like I'm super lucky. Yeah,
I mean, that's the kind of weird thing about those things is like I feel like they're designed for people like you're not like green, you're not just learning the process, like you know what you're doing. So it's not like you're not starting from scratch. So I feel like labs are most ideal for people in that kind of situation where it's like you haven't done the big projects yet and you'll really benefit from this versus somebody that's already scored Jurassic World or something and then they get accepted into I don't know. I don't
know, but like a few years, like the other alumni in different years. Some alumni already done like big projects.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so I feel like I don't know. They would just they would just find people with different stage, I would say, or maybe like background or diversity. Like in our lab, we are focused about film music, but we have so many different backgrounds. Like for me, I'm very classical because I grew up with cello, you know. But like some of the fellows, like Aaron, he's a jazz pianist, like so good in New York. Yeah. And Jeff, he's a pop. He already got nominated by Grammy.
Whoa.
Yeah. And Ariel, of course, she's really good. She's like me, strings. Yeah. And D'Angelo, of course, he's amazing too.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that everybody's amazing, and I like.
And they're amazing in different specialty of music.
Yeah.
And they pair people together so we can learn from each other. Actually, I feel like I learned a lot from the other fellow. Because every time when we present the work, it's totally different perspective and different approach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that okay? I had two thoughts in there. One was it makes sense from like a lab perspective that you want to have diversity across the board, ideally, not just on the actual individuals coming in the room, but also different experience levels and different like you said specialties. That kind of makes sense where it's a nice mash.
Yeah.
And I lost my train of thought on what the second thing was. But
I'm not sure the other lab doing the same thing because if they are taking with a project, maybe I don't know. Maybe they will evaluate the project itself. I don't know.
We don't know. It's it's a mystery.
But for film music, yeah, they just
That's what it feels
so
like
the first day they say, oh, I remember what Peter said. Just say there's so many good submission, like a fantastic submission this year, but we pick you because we think you guys are unique. Yeah. And he said like if you go out of the lab, just stay your unique.
Yeah, keep who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the whole process is just find your own voice, like finding who you are and what you can do, or what you can make. Yeah. It's really amazing.
Yeah.
It's like you know what you can do and you learn and you try to break through yourself in your own way. Yeah, it's totally different from, the other school, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's more like find yourself.
Yeah.
And be amazing.
Yeah, find yourself and be really good at being yourself.
Yeah.
It's what we're all striving for, right? That's kind of like the creative goal as any individual, I feel like.
I would say because for music, for example, most people came here for the Hollywood sound, I would say. Because this is Hollywood, right? Like everyone wants to write epic music, like trailer music.
Do they?
Well, most people.
Sure.
Of course, like 80% people want to do like studio film or whatever, big, right? Superhero.
Yeah. They want,
yeah, but like for music, yes. So most people came here want to intern in the big studios and do whatever big. So maybe we try to imitate some people's style, I would say. Yeah, so I would think maybe it's also the topic that we talked earlier. Like it's easy to lose yourself if you just keep doing project by project and you don't really, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
If you keep doing projects to what do you mean?
And because how to say, you would try to imitate different style, but you don't really know what your voice is.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you, I don't know, maybe it's not a thing for director, but like if you got hired by horror film for years, like that,
Yeah.
and you never know if you are better than the other stuff.
It's a weird thing for sure. It's hard to gauge. I don't know. I'm trying to think about. Before I remember what I was going to say before.
Okay.
I was going to ask. You mentioned this is almost like they put you in collaborative settings, so you're getting to interact with your other fellow lab acceptees. I don't know if that's the proper. The other fellows. Is that something you've done before? Is that something that's been encouraged before, where you collaborate with other composers and kind of get that setting, or is that not really a thing?
Because coming out of the film scoring program from Columbia College, I know the other school, they also do it. Like, we are a group of musician composers, and like every week we just do a cue and share, and everyone have their own perspective. Yeah. So I think it's sort of like that, but in Sundance it's more intense, like extremely intense. So you need to write lots of cues, and because the mentor, they are big, and you really want to impress them.
Yeah. This is your chance.
Yeah.
So can you give us an example? Because I've never scored anything before. Can you explain? You mentioned doing cues. Can you give us an example of like what an assignment might be, or what that is?
So for cue means like a scene, actually, just from a spot where the music should come in and out. That's we call cue.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe it's not a full scene, but
It's like a moment.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So usually the mentor will give us the different cue. Like the first week, we pair with different mentor. So my mentor is Thomas Newman. So I did one cue from his projects, and then we have a private lesson, and then the next day everyone review everyone's cue. So some people also do Thomas Newman's cue, and the other people do James Newton Howard's cue. Yeah. And then we watch together and see
what decisions you guys made.
So it's the same scene, the same cue, but different music.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get to kind of like dissect what each person did, and why they, and talk about why you did it, and what you're getting from it, and all that kind of stuff.
And also get the feedback from all the mentors, like big name mentors. Yeah.
Quotes.
And of course, at last we will watch the original cue.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is stuff that has been released and scored before by somebody else already, normally? Like if you...
it's their own cue.
Okay.
So it's already out.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Or well, during that time, one cue is not. But
how? So what are you taking from those experiences? Like, how does that? I'm trying to imagine. That sounds like sounds fun and scary and...
Yeah, because sometimes the mentor will tell you the overall story for this cue. We haven't watched the whole movie, right? But they just give you a scene, and they will just tell you, oh, so this character probably will have some feelings. You need to feel that, and the other director, whatever, and this scene looks like whatever, and make it music. Yeah.
So then...
But you're just trying to guess what they really want, or how will it fit the scene.
Yeah.
But everyone thinks so different.
So is there I'm searching for a lesson in here somewhere. Like is there I'm gonna force a lesson. Is the lesson there is no wrong answer?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you would know like some music, like if the music fits.
Right. Like if they're supposed to be sad and for some reason it's really happy, uplifting music, you're like this something's clashing
But
here.
sometimes it works. Like if you have an opposite.
Okay.
Vibe,
Sometimes
right?
it works.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, I could imagine that being the case.
Have you tried that? Just use your own maybe work and do different music in the background and see which
See
one.
what happens?
Yeah.
I haven't done
It's like a temp music actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't spent much time. Like, for me, because we've interacted, this director, composer, a few times now, and I'm always, like, I feel like I need to do more homework on, like, on just understanding music, and I don't know what the expectation is from you on, like, on the director side. I think I've asked you this question before, but off camera. But like I feel bad as a director if I don't have a proper direction or vision for every element of my film, because there's some elements where I'm like, costumes, it's hard for me to imagine a costume. It's hard for me to imagine certain elements of production design or makeup or hair. Like that's just kind of stuff that goes over my head, and I'm like, maybe I should learn some makeup stuff or learn like hair, do some research. Like, so when it comes to music and it comes time to score the film, I'm always like, what do I want? Like it's kind of difficult. So that's where.
But you know which is right. Right? You know which music fit better.
Yeah, there's an element of like, okay, this feels good and I like this. But until it's heard, it's hard to know. It's hard for me to plant sounds on top of it before I've heard it.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's awesome that like that's, because of course that's the job.
Yeah.
Is there's no sound here. Let's create something.
But I feel like I don't know. Sometimes some it doesn't really need music for everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
So you just feel that like, is it really need the moment or?
Yeah. that is a decision to make.
Yeah.
How do you know? When do you step in as a composer to be like, actually, I don't think we need music here? Is that a...
I think like most of the directors know where they want music.
What about the ones that don't know? Any advice?
So we would do a spotting session. I haven't do spotting session with you, right?
Can you describe a spotting session? Do you need you want to take a drink?
Yeah. So for spotting session is like the director or maybe producer and composer will sit together and we will watch the whole film. And then we will watch again, maybe, or maybe we just stop at some moment and say, maybe this scene is too dry or whatever, it needs more stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we will plan all the cue and we will put it in order and make a cue sheet. Yeah.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, so for most of short film doesn't really have that unless it's like 20 something minutes.
Okay.
But if feature film, they usually do.
Yeah, because I remember when I was going through that process with my composer on my feature, shout out to Adam Galloway, he pointed out doing a spotting session, and we ended up never doing it.
What?
We didn't. I don't know. I think we didn't do it because we were having conversations on and off. So by the time we're like, wait, do we still need to do the spotting session? And I was like, actually, I've already done a bunch of temp. Like, he had submitted temps, and I did, like, give thumbs up to stuff. And I was like, all right, I like where it's going. I don't... So kind of...
So he already temp everything. And
Yeah, so we had a lot to look at already. So by the time... It was kind of like a little bit out of order, maybe, on how we did it. I don't know. But regardless, a spotting session would have kind of just been, like, a little bit redundant to tread over again. So
I think it's sort of good in overall, like, because you know, like, it will sound more like a film, the same film. If you just do temp in different spot, well, of course it depends what kind of temp you trying to put in, but if there's lots of temp music and you just do it, it will probably end up doesn't sound like the same film.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, because I mean, like, for instance, like, I submitted a film to you with temp music. Like, I don't normally even do temp music because temp music scares me. Because I mean, I think I've heard there's a thing with, let's just say, directors or producers where once we listen to our film enough times with the temp music on it, it's just kind of like that's just the sound we expect now. And when we hear the final original, it's like, it's not as good.
Yeah.
This isn't the music that I've been listening. You know, it's different, and it changes it. So I try to challenge myself with, like, all right, I need to get better at communicating what sound I'm looking for without cheating and putting a different sound there and just having that being replicated. Like, I don't know, that's just...
Yeah, because for us, temp music is we would say it's good but bad in the same time, because most directors choose the temp music. Maybe some directors really loved it, and you never can make it better, you know, because they love that.
Yeah.
And whatever you make, it's just a different song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because I feel like it's limiting. Like, it does feel limiting to me. So I try to stay away from it, but sometimes it's a helpful tool to get things going.
I would say it's a good way for communication, because music is too abstract. Like, sometimes if you say you want happy music, and I said I make a happy music, but you don't feel like happy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, happy can mean many things.
Oh, sure. Yeah, actually, one of my mentor, Christopher Leonards, he told me the story. He said once his director said he wanted happy music. Oh, and then he showed him the video. There's a guy in Hawaii playing ukulele and sing over a rainbow. Have you watched that one?
That specific video?
Yeah.
No, I feel like I could imagine.
Well, but for him, he just feel it's sad. Like, I don't know, like with ukulele and sing over a rainbow. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like a happy song, but I don't know. Like, everyone feel different on the same music.
Because that's kind of that comes down to the delivery, the way in which you deliver. I know what you mean. Like, it's technically it should be happy, but for some reason it's coming out sad.
Yeah. And everyone, like, even the happy music, maybe for somebody they will feel sad.
'Cause, I mean, that happens to me. Like, I listen to
like Christmas song.
Could depress you.
Yeah, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
No, I was gonna say, like, I've talked about it on the podcast before, but, like, my favorite band is Linkin Park, and their music is, like, traditionally kind of depressing.
Yeah.
And like the
but maybe hope.
Like the subject material, like in their, like, let's say their early stuff that everybody knows, it's kind of like it can be kind of, I don't know. Yeah, a lot of their recent stuff is kind of hopeful, but they do have this weird, like, it's kind of sad, but for some reason it's making me feel good. And it's not like a lot of people use it for, like, gym, like, it's upbeat and you get, like, really angry and it's like, oh yeah, I'm doing gym. But for me it's like chill. So it's kind of like it is a weird interpretive element to
yeah, so I feel like temp music is a good tool to communicate. like you show me the music you want, and I kind of realize, okay, maybe that's, that's a goal. Like you want the vibe, but I would try to maybe not 100% imitate that, and I try to make my own version, but that vibe.
Yeah.
I don't know how is it make sense. I don't know.
Yeah. I think that's a fun challenge for sure. Like I'm thinking about there's a film you scored that isn't out yet. It's called Me, Jenny, and also Me. And for that one, I kind of made it a point in the temp that I sent you. I was like, all right, there's this sound here, and here's this complete opposite sound over here.
Yeah.
I wonder how this is gonna, get smoothed over and make it a coherent piece. But I like the idea of that.
Yeah, because for composer's job is just to make whatever fits. I feel like.
Yeah. So I don't know if you answered my question, but I'll re-ask it just in case. Do you have any advice on directors that don't know what sound they want to like? What do your initial conversations look like when you get pitched a project? How does that?
I would say most of the time people know what kind of direction they want, but they have no clue what specific,
like instruments and stuff.
Yeah.
Or?
But like probably what I would like to do demo. I did demo for you sometimes, right? So they can just know, okay, maybe not this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess it's good, like through the whole process, and you finally know more and learn more about the project.
Is there an industry standard for that process? Like,
if you're doing studio film, of course,
yeah,
you can hire the music editor. So he or she would do the temp music, and she would cut everything, and and there's a music supervisor.
Yeah, and all those people they're talking to the director ahead of time, or is that okay? So that's kind of like the early process of
So the composer, they just got the direction from those people, and they just write directly. Yeah, of course there's still communication with director, but they'll be much clearer because there's few persons give you more example and.
Yeah, they've put a lot of work and time into that before it even comes to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you don't have to try this and try that, and
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds like a nice world.
Hopefully we will have a music editor in the future. I don't know.
No, that's interesting. Okay. What else regarding? So this to kind of close out the Sundance element of it. How long is the workshop going for, and what are you excited about next with it? Like what is it? Yeah.
Oh, so the whole lab is actually just like 3 weeks. Yeah, and so the first week is with mentors, and we do different cues. And the second week, we work with our own project with our pair director. Yeah, and then the third week is more like produce the music. Sorry, produce the music. So you have chance to hire some musician and record it. Yeah.
They give you a nice budget to play with. And You gotta hook up your friends.
Yeah.
Sweet, that's cool.
Yeah.
So as far as who are the, I mean, you don't have to say, but are the directors you get paired with, are they like known directors that Sundance kind of like brings in?
Yeah, they also a page director for this lab. So most of the director, they came with projects almost finished. So they have queue for us to write, but at the same time they are still maybe the final editing or something. And some project already got composers and some project haven't. Yeah.
So are those like, I could imagine Sundance working in-house with like, all right, these are some films produced through our Sundance program. So it's kind of like Sundance directors are being paired with Sundance composers. Or is it?
I guess
I don't know
so
how.
because we both got selected to lab, right?
The director?
Yeah,
Okay.
and
I
then
wasn't sure if it was the same.
I don't know actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So working with a director, and then what was the last week that I thought was cool?
Oh yeah. So actually, I think it's really nice because there's a class we will have like a mentor from the director and also mentor from the composer. And our class is more like me, my director, my music sound designer, and a mentor of director and mentor of composer. So sometimes if I don't know what I want or I don't know what to say, and my mentor will help me. And sometimes my director doesn't really know what she wants, and her mentor will just
Give some options.
yeah.
That seems nice.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, so we have,
You can bounce some ideas off before.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great experience. to
yeah,
me.
and of course it's a lab, so everything stay in the lab, so you can just do whatever crazy things
Yeah.
you do, and,
What happens there stays there. Yeah, it's a freedom to experiment and no judgment and all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
Permission to fail, all that jazz.
Yeah, because sometimes if you, how to say, if you do a real project, as a composer, I'm actually kind of afraid every time when I submit my music and see how people react, You are really nice, but, some director, they are not sure, or maybe they're just, can you make something better or whatever, So, well, as a composer, we have lots of rejection is a daily life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds.
But sometimes it's not, well, I would say like it's about communication. Like some people doesn't really know what they want, or maybe I thought I know what you want, but it's the wrong direction. It's always happened.
Yeah. No, because I mean that happens through the entire process of filmmaking, for sure. Because I've seen that on set plenty of times where a director will go up to an actor and be like I'm not getting what I want. Let's make these tweaks. And I'm still like, there's this ongoing like they're not getting what they want.
Yeah.
And they sometimes blame the actor, but it's really they don't know what they're looking for. So the direction they're giving isn't guiding them in the direction because there's no.
It's actually very tricky to get direction too.
To give or to get?
Both.
Yeah,
because sometimes you think it's this, that, and then,
Yeah.
It's really hard. I think the whole industry is about communication.
100%. I'm all about it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the tough part too about the current world we live in, where communication is almost like there's a lot I feel you can take from the in-person. Like you kind of said, like the spotting session. Let's get us in a room. Let's watch it together. You can at least like vibe off my energy. I can vibe off your energy. We can feel the movie. We can talk about it in the moment. When you strip the in-personness and put it digital or just go to text, email, you lose a lot of layers of like it's already hard enough to receive all that information, but doing it this way, I'm sure, doesn't make it any easier.
But I would say like director usually they know the best for their own projects because they put lots of effort on it. Sometimes they wrote the script themselves.
Yeah.
And lots of time before they show you, right? So they like 80% always right.
Yeah, I guess from my perspective, like even with Adam for It's on the Inside, it was in working with you and stuff, like I put a lot of stock, I guess, in every element with my collaborator, where it's like, all right, this is, I understand that you have, I consider it better instincts in this realm because this is the profession that you practice. So like I put a lot of stock into like, what are you feeling from this? Like, let me bounce my ideas off of you. Does this sound right? Or like the ideas being pitched back, like Adam pitched me ideas and I'm like, you know what, like that, like that sounds cool. I didn't even consider that because your realm of understanding of what options there are for this is bigger than mine.
Well, I would say yes and no.
Yeah, sometimes
it depends. Yeah,
I'm sure it's person to person, but for me, that's how I feel about it. So,
but I feel like for me, it's also a culture thing because I'm not from America. Or sometimes when people say like 70, 80s difference, I don't really feel huge difference.
What do you mean?
Some people will hit me, whatever.
What do you mean 70?
Because for me, I will feel like, okay, just the instrumental and the sound. Well, for me, because I don't really have that history experiences. I don't know how to say it.
You mean, okay. Are you trying to say because you didn't grow up in the States?
Yeah. So I feel like culture also, there'll be a culture thing.
I guess maybe you're referring to like when you're working to older filmmakers that grew up during different decades, or
yeah.
Okay.
So sometimes it's harder to communicate. So I would say like the temp would be really good, like lots of help. Yeah. Is it weird?
No, I don't think so. For me, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm not old enough yet. But like I prefer having the different backgrounds because it forces stronger communication because we have different histories we're pulling from and different foundations in everything. So it's like, all right, let's break through that and come up with something together.
Yeah.
Versus, I don't know, I guess there's benefit from like there could be a shorthand discussion if we were exactly the same age growing up in the same part of the world.
Yeah. But I feel like it's good for me too. Like, well, I would say culture thing is good and bad in the same time. Sometimes it will have more communication or for me to interpretate what they really want. But in the same time, because of course English is not my first language, so sometimes I feel like I can watch the scene itself more than the dialogue interrupt.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know, like do you speak any other languages?
Nope.
Okay. So like
No.
maybe for people like they can understand 2 or 3 languages.
Yeah.
But I actually watched this scientific they're saying like for the language it's not your mother tongue, sometimes you can just close it. How to say it? Like if there's a group of people yelled at you, but if they're yelled at in different languages, it's probably
No, you can.
it's okay.
I'm sure you can
But if
gather.
they're yelled in English and you can understand what they are yelling, your ear will trying to hear what they are talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like for me, English is not my first language, so if I want to close it, I'll close it.
Yeah. No, that makes me think about a test that I've never done before, but it's you get 2 people in a room to watch the same movie. One person is blindfolded and the other person has earplugs. So ideally the movie comes across around the same thing. One person's hearing it, one person's just watching it.
Yeah.
And you should be able to get the same emotional impact.
Yeah.
And same story. You should know what's going on either way, and they should interconnect. Which kind of, I could imagine that's kind of the test with the other language. If I was watching any sort of foreign film, don't have the subtitles, and I'm just watching it kind of on mute because I don't understand it, it's like, all right, I kind of get this.
But you should supposed to understand what happened.
Yeah, it's like there's a relationship there.
If that's a good movie.
Yeah. If it's directed well and acted well, and composition of in terms of framing and how that and editing, all that kind of stuff plays into it. But
so for me, I think this is my benefit, so I can just see the movie itself as a...
You could simplify it a
little
bit. Yeah.
And what the scene really needs. Like, disregard for the language or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. No, I like that. I like that. It's a... I don't know how did you come to that realization? When did you notice that was a strength and not a... Did you ever see it as a weakness, or was that something to overcome, or how did that play?
I just slightly like understand. Oh, maybe this is my thing. Yeah, so I just read it. So read the scene instead of really understand this. Try to understand. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think that's nice. Well,
I think so. Yeah, the whole point, again, it's about who are you and what's your thing and how do you what processes do you go through.
Yeah, but I feel like that's how Sundance teach too. Like it's really more like a film school. They teach like even the film music program, we almost talking about movie like all the time. We don't really talk about music. Well, we talk about music, but like we try to understand the scene. We try to read what happens. Yeah.
Like the specifics.
Yeah, because everything, like in terms of music, in terms of sound design, in terms of makeup, everything is served for the film to make it perfect. Right? We are working the same art. Yeah. So it's not about like, okay, so you play the music, oh, this is like really good music, but it doesn't fit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were equating that to a film school exercise?
Yeah.
So the approach in film school is different than the approach you're taking in the Sundance Labs was kind of, all right.
Yeah, because I would say, well, of course, in the film school, like Columbia College, we do lots of scene study too. But I would say because our focus is more in music, so we will talk more about the timbre or the instrumental stuff and whatever, you know, like, and how to like make the music sounds more good. But for Sundance, it's more like how to fit the scene. I don't know how to say it. Is it right way?
No, it sounds right to me. I mean, that's kind of my... Which way do you prefer? Both methods are leading to the same thing, right? The objective is to score the film. It's just different approaches. Which one?
But I feel like I'm very lucky to get both perspectives.
Yeah, 100%.
And I would say, of course, as a composer, I really want to make something fit the film. Yeah, that's my goal, like my work.
Yeah.
But in the same time, I don't want it to be boring. Like people still feel the music. I don't know how to say it.
I'm not sure, but I was gonna say that the benefit of having both experiences is you can kind of pick and choose elements of each one and kind of combine into your own method.
Yeah,
which I'm sure is what's kind of happening right now.
So you want it to be fit, but you don't want it to be boring.
Of course.
And you want to make it better than the temp.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you hire me, right?
Yeah.
You don't want something like library. Well, I'm not saying like library is bad, but
No, for sure. You want the custom sound to your custom vision to kind of the same thing as what the advice was as far as why you got picked for Sundance at all. Is like, we like you because you're unique. If you're using library music, that's kind of like, I guess, like by definition,
Yeah.
it's kind of run of the mill.
Yeah. But I feel like, yes, so maybe for director also, back to, some director, they just want music to, they just want music, but they don't really think about what they really want.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's a good exercise too. Like for you to make a temp music, maybe to temp your own movie.
To go through the process of temping.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. Because I mean, that requires me to listen to a bunch of music and kind of do that experimenting myself before.
Yeah.
So which helps clarify the direction. Yeah, I agree.
A lot of pressure. Are we finished?
No.
No?
No. Let's talk about your humble beginnings. I don't know why I framed it that way, but you were born in Taiwan. I don't know how much I guess go back. This is who you are now. How long has this been the track that you've been kind of working toward?
Yeah, so growing up, I played cello. Well, I played piano first, and then I switched to cello, but I still minor in my piano. And I went to music school. So in Asia, we're crazy about, learning like special talents. Like,
Okay.
as an Asian kids, I believe your Asian friends also do that. Like their parents were trying to ask them to learn whatever they can learn. Yeah, and then my mom, because she had a piano, and she think like, what a waste. So we need to learn the music. So my sister and me went to music school. So the music school is different from the normal school. So we got picked. Yeah.
So what age is this?
In Taiwan, it's like when you're like eight or nine.
Okay.
Yeah, and you have to do the exam to see if you can get in, and another exam to the other school, another exam. It's like that. Yeah. It's very selective. Yeah. So so that's how we grow up and practice. That's it. Yeah, and so like when I was high school, it's also in the music school, and how to say, I was thinking about, should I do in another profession in the future? Actually, lots of my classmates back then, we have doctors, we have lawyers, lots of different people who just turn out different career paths. But like for me, I don't know, like music for me is really always easy compared to the other stuff. And my mom feel like, well, you should just keep playing because you're good at it. And I tried to switch to composing, but my mom said, well, bad. But she thinks composer is not gonna survive in Taiwan, of course. Well, I know part of she's right. And
Sure. It's a classic parental warning that artists receive.
So I went to a college, university with my cello performance, and then I got another master of cello in Taiwan. But during the same time, I'm thinking like, so I play with some orchestra, and I'm thinking, should I just find a job in orchestra? But how to say, I after a few will compare this need to off camera, whatever. So doing orchestra doesn't really make money in Taiwan. Yeah.
Does it make money anywhere?
Well, here is good pay if
Okay.
you are playing in an orchestra, but in Taiwan, it's not really. You still need to teach, do a side job. So and then after I compare, I feel like okay, maybe teaching is much better, because you have summer vacation, winter vacation, and you get good benefits. And like when you tour with the orchestra, even you can travel, you cannot really have fun, because you're travel working.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like Kyoto, I've been to Kyoto, but I've been there just one day, because we have a concert that night and we rehearse like when we arrive, like maybe 2 hours later, and then we left after our performance.
To the next.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I heard from like just people that have been in bands and stuff. Like
Yeah, it's not really fun. Well, if you enjoy the process, of course.
Well,
But
yeah, that's ideal.
yeah, but I don't know. I feel like for me, travel is really important in my life. Yeah, so I really, really want to travel, and teaching is like perfect job for me, and I'm very good at it. Yeah.
Okay. So,
So I did teaching for a few years, but I always wanted to do film music. That's why I feel like okay, maybe I need to learn something before I really get into the industry. So that's how I found a process. Like maybe I should get another master, and then came here, and then I was very lucky to get the scholarship from Taiwan. Yeah.
right. All right. So just to clarify your time in Taiwan. So you started, like you said, you were encouraged to learn special skills early on because that's just kind of the culture. And piano came first, and then the cello, and then you kind of, it always came easy to you. Did you enjoy it, or how
I would
was
say
it?
like learning instrument is a really weird journey. Have you ever played anything?
The only experience I have is in, I think it was middle school, no, 6th grade. All right, I don't know what age that is, but regardless, it was kind of mandatory. You had to choose. I don't even know, either strings or band, whatever. I chose the band side and played the trombone for a year. And that's pretty much all my experience.
Then how you stop? Why you stop?
Well, I didn't like it. I didn't
Okay.
like it.
Have you tried to like it? No. Which
No.
part you don't like it? Is it your teacher or the instruments?
I don't know. For me, I always have this hurdle of I understand if I want to get good at something, it takes effort. It takes the want, and it can be expensive too. And I've really got to want it. But I didn't like, because with the trombone you have the spittle thing. I don't even know. Like you're spitting into this thing.
Yeah.
You gotta like drain it out. You gotta clean this
yeah.
thing. Gotta maintain it. I'm not good at maintaining. I don't know. Maintaining is boring for me and frustrating part of the process. But like I didn't like the way my lips felt. I didn't like the smell. I didn't like
Okay.
that was kind of like a frustrating.
Maybe the wrong instruments.
Maybe, but just like it takes a lot of practice, I'm sure, to get the sounds right, to get the motion right, to just.
Yeah, so I feel like learning an instrument.
It's like a language.
It takes lots of passion and time.
Yeah, like even just reading music for me, that's a whole part of the process that I'm like, I do not get it.
Yeah, I feel like it's sort of meditation for me now. Like it's not only for making music, but also the practice of yourself, like to focus. I don't know how to say it. Is it right? Like,
so you're saying that reading of the music is meditative for you?
no, like practicing.
Okay.
For me, it's like routine now. Like I need to do it every day.
So playing cello?
Yeah, but it's not only for making good music sounds good, but it's more like
keeping you sharp, like almost
Yeah, like a meditation.
yeah, or like going to the gym or whatever. It's maintain. I don't know.
Like
Sure.
you have a person of time and work on something and focus and be patient to make it good. I don't know how to say it. Like I feel like this is a very good training. I would suggest everyone learn an instrument, either you like it or not. But I think this is a good training to keep, like when you're growing up, because it's not only like making good sound or make you look good, but in the same time, you know how to take an effort and how to focus on stuff.
Yeah, I hear the same thing with like joining like a sports team.
Yeah.
Where
it's the same.
Yeah, there's a word for it, and it's not coming to me either. I think it's discipline.
Yeah.
Where you learn. Yeah, it's a great for kids. Great for everybody. Great for everybody.
I would say at first I don't really, I'm not like 100% love it. I'm not like that kind of people, but like throughout this process, actually I fought with my mom when I was high school, I think, or junior high school. I just don't want to play anymore.
You almost quit.
Yeah, but I feel like everyone has that moment. Actually, I asked all my musician friends, they all have this moment. But once you go through it, it's very tough.
Can you describe the moment? What does it feel like?
You just feel like you're not good enough anyway, and you just never make it. You've never been to Yuma or whoever, like, the Mastros. Yeah, but then you feel like it's still, I don't know. I feel like for me now, it's not like a profession, but also like a passion. Like I like. But you need to work through that process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's a tough process to go through.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I feel like, I don't know, I kind of thank my parents. They just keep me working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I was recapping your time in Taiwan. So you went through that moment in high school. You followed through with that. I mean, you got through that. You worked through that, and then you went on to university, and you got a master's, still in Taiwan. And then you got another master's, and then you came over, or you were able to secure the scholarship, and you came straight over to Chicago from.
So yeah, after my Taiwanese master degree, and then I got Columbia College Chicago here. Yeah. So actually it's a 2 different degree, because composing and performing is very different.
Yeah.
But I would say, I don't know, like for film music, it's always my dream, because my dad is also a director.
Oh, really?
He's not very successful. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
But so he quit, and he become an officer in government.
Okay.
But he still very watch movie, love watch movie actually. So he forced us to watch movie with him every day. And we don't really have a TV. We have a TV, but we don't have a channel thing. Yeah. So we usually just rent the DVD.
Okay.
And play the whole film, so no commercial or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like it's our ritual thing. Like we watch film, we can watch 3 films or 4 films every day. Every summer, when I growing up.
It's a lot of movies.
A lot. Yeah.
And would you guys talk about them too? Like being that he was a filmmaker at heart.
No, he never talked. He just said never do films or whatever art.
Okay.
Yeah. So he doesn't really like me doing whatever.
Well, it seems like Well, the way you set it up, it sounds like I'm a director. I love films. I want my kids to watch movies with me because I want them to also appreciate film. Was that not? Or he just wanted somebody to sit with him? Or what's the?
Well, I feel like he just, he just liked to watch it, but he would not make it as a professional level. I don't know how to say it, like as a career, because he doesn't think it's a good career path.
Based on experience.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But of course, and then we are learning music at the same time. But I don't link these together. But we like to record a cue. Actually, now I realize that's a cue. So like when I watch a movie and I feel like, well, this scene is really good, I will record it on my. I don't know how to say it. What's that type?
VCR.
Yeah. I would just record a whole cue and listen to it. I don't really know what soundtrack is because, I was a country girl and yeah. So we just listen to all the cue like every time again. Yeah. And I feel like it's actually a good practice. So you know when to get into the music. Like, because you record everything with a production sound. Right? I don't know. That's how... I realized that's a good training for me now.
Yeah, it was getting a good sense of how others use it or how others place music and stuff. Yeah.
And then after a while we realized, there's a soundtrack we can buy. So we start to collect those soundtracks.
Oh, I got you. You were initially recording it just for the music.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you record everything because you record the sounds.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel interesting. And I really like to do... I know myself always I want to do film music, but I don't really know film music composer is a thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then I realized, like, after 10 years, okay, maybe I can be a composer. Yeah.
And here you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really weird journey, but I would say amazing.
No, for sure. For sure. We all, it's all, I mean, that's the cool thing about what elements in a life add into the person you are, like the avenues one takes are not
but I feel like
often,
I don't know, every
super
stage, like either you don't know what you really want, but you know the direction and you go for it.
Yeah.
And you will know eventually what you become, I would say.
Ideally.
Is director your, like, dream job?
Director is the big dream. Yeah, that's the...
Like, when you were very young, you already knew?
Oh, no.
Then how you figure it out?
It took me a long time.
How?
Me, I grew up watching movies and TV like anybody else, and I didn't have anybody in the family that worked in film, so I was like, when a normal person watches a movie, they're like, they see the actors. So I was like, oh, it'd be cool to be Spider-Man one day or something like that.
So you wanted to be an actor?
So actor was what, like, because I didn't know that script supervisor was a thing. I didn't know all the processes behind the scenes. So I was like, all right, movies. What is a movie? There's an actor. Like, that looks fun. So that's how I went to school and got my degree, my bachelor's in mining engineering first. And then my plan was to work in like gold mines and stuff for a few years and save a lot of money and then move to Los Angeles and try out the film stuff and try to be an actor or whatever. But because of the way the world was working, gold price fell drastically when I came out of college. So all the mines were laying people off. So I was like, well, I guess I'm just going to try right now. Like, I wasn't in Los Angeles or anything, but I was like, all right, well, let me, sign up for, for as far as acting options, it was like community college. Or that's pretty much it. So I was like, I guess I'll try a play out. Let me do some theater. And through...
a theater is very different from...
Yeah, stage.
Oh.
It's way different, for
sure.
Do you
feel like you gain some benefit from... No?
From that experience?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's... the acting alone helped bring out my personality. Like, I wanted to be the type of person that could be an actor, like could be confident enough to say lines in front of a camera and to do something in front of people, like that kind of stage fright kind of thing. Getting over that was a big plus for me. So as an actor, you kind of have to get over a lot of insecurities to just be able to do it. So that was good. And then through that, I was able to, like, somebody was starting like a scene study class for actors, and that was more designed for film. So I'm like, all right, sweet, let's learn that. And then I started producing my own work so I could act in front of the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And I quickly learned through just doing that I'm like, acting is not for me, but I do like the producing side. And that was kind of my start to learning about all right, I would watch movies and TV shows and be like, how did they shoot this? What's the writing? Let me look up the scripts. Let me remake this and change the script for my own thing. And just kind of make and make and make. And then as I gain experience.
But you never have a school for directing?
I didn't go to film school, no.
What do you think the difference, like, will you regret, or?
What's the difference in what?
Like, if you went to school for filmmaking, would you feel difference, or?
Well, it's kind of the thing that I hear, and because I've had the chance to, like, when I first moved to Los Angeles, because I primarily make my living by freelancing as a script supervisor, so I get to shadow a lot of directors, and that way, shadow, air quotes. But I got to be on a bunch of student film sets early on, and I got to, like, witness those directors and stuff. And I'm a firm believer in sometimes there's too much pressure in that kind of setting where you're spending a lot of money to be there. Everybody around you is spending a lot of money to be there.
Yeah.
And this project is your big thesis, and everybody's expecting it to be, but it's supposed to be good. You have to fundraise for it. You got to spend money on it. It's just too much pressure, and it kind of hinders. I think it hurts the process a little bit. Where I much prefer my track that I ended up in randomly, where I was like, I'm kind of producing in a similar way to you explained the Sundance Lab, where I'm giving myself the permission to fail and to experiment, and I can put stuff out without, like, I didn't put any money into it. It was just time and learning that way. So developing my writing, developing my vision and my style of humor, like, that's taken years and years and years to be like, all right, who am I? What do I bring to the table that's different? And then, all right, sweet, that worked. I like that a lot. Let's focus on that more.
But you write your own script, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Because that's very different profession too.
Writing?
Directing and writing.
Yeah. Because I've always been a writer in ways, like, even from when I was a little kid. So that's always come naturally to me, similar to, I guess, maybe the music, in a way where I don't have to work too hard at it. It's just kind of, again, finding myself and, like, my rhythms and my characters. And I have a writing partner now that kind of helps shape stuff and bounce ideas off of and whatnot. But yeah, writing and directing is the big
But you learn
thing.
those equipment yourself?
Yeah, it's similar, like, when I was doing, so I was in Reno before Los Angeles, and in the very beginning, I bought, like, $1,000 camera. I was like, all right, I'm jumping in. Film is going to be my thing. I'm like, here's a camera that shoots video, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get stuff out there. And people that want to tag along, please come along for the ride. So in the beginning, I was writing and acting and directing. And then, like, my girlfriend at the time was, like, holding the camera. And I would have, like, a friend or two that would act with me. and then I would edit it, and I would put it out, and I would do it again.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was like, I kind of had to learn to get it done. Sometimes I had to learn sound too. Like I had to learn kind of the basics of editing the sound, the basics of editing
So you
the
do
video.
editing too?
Yeah. I mean, I have the understanding, at least the minor understanding in everything aside from I've never tried composing my own music. But yeah, learning by doing.
I know some director too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard that too. Yeah.
But I feel like, I don't know, like if you get a degree for your field, maybe a shortcut because you can learn whatever in school before you really do stuff. I think that's how my Columbia College experience is. And I'm still very thankful that because they teach us how to be professional, how to work professional with people. Yeah, and then also they teach you whatever tool you probably would need. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I like, as far as professionalism, because I guess my thing was always like learning by observing too. Like I would try to find my way on any film since I could, and just be like a good listener and a good learner and keep my mouth shut and just do my job kind of thing. So then I got to like witness, how's this director communicating? How's the assistant director communicating? How is all this playing out? And like kind of pulling what's working and what's not working, and why is that person yelling? That doesn't seem professional. Like you can kind of gather.
But don't you think like that's really nervous in like if you're on set and there is some like tensions, like if you say
happens.
something wrong, right?
It's no. I mean, I have a lot of good experiences with. I'm a very chill person that I feel like there's a benefit to understanding what's happening around you as a director. And just if you do your prep work ahead of time, you put yourself in a position to where you can actually like keep a level head and openly communicate with your team. And ideally, you like your team, like that's helpful. So that way, you're not like battling with people all day. You're collaborating and having open discussions about finding solutions.
Yeah.
Which is the situations I put myself in, where I've never had any. Tensions go up. It's kind of a thing, but normally you can communicate your way out of it.
Communicate.
Hopefully in a productive way.
Is there any like frustrated process, like experiences when you're on set?
Any frustrating
experiences?
Well, I mean
always.
It feels like it normally comes, because I guess the bulk of my Los Angeles film set experience, aside from stuff I produce myself, is as a script supervisor. So in that position, I'm an observer pretty much by trade. Like I'm just watching everything go down and making notes and keeping an ear out and making notes and chiming in when it's important. So I pick very specific points to make a correction or tell the director, actually, remember this is what it says in the script, let's keep this in mind, kind of stuff. So then I get to just like sit back and be like, all right, this set is kind of going crazy, and I can see exactly why, because it's like a top-down trickle effect, where if the director is kind of winging it with shot-to-shot plans and we haven't blocked anything yet, and we don't, the grips and gaffers don't even know where to light because the DP doesn't know what the scene is and what's happening, and the actors don't know what's happening, and the director's assuming people know what's happening, and there's just that miscommunication going on that can be frustrating for me in ways. But luckily, it's not really my issue. I can just sit back and like, all right, I don't really need to worry until we figure out what's going on. Then I can watch.
Yeah.
But until that moment, I kind of observe. I mean, I could get frustrated plenty, but I choose not to. because it's not helpful. Sometimes frustrating
Yeah.
isn't useful.
But I feel like when you're on set, there's a lot of pressures, like all the time.
A lot of pressure.
Yeah, because you have specific time, right? Like you rent the location and you had to do everything on time and hopefully perfect.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you need to do it again, and there's lots of things like you can go wrong. Like if one specific mistakes, it costs lots of money.
It could start snowballing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where a strong leader comes into play. And it's like, everybody, we have a solution. You got to get creative in those instances where it's like, we're not going to let this tank the whole production. We're in a creative environment. We can find a way around it.
Yeah.
But no, it's definitely a lot of pressure because you're right. Like when I was shooting my movie, I was luckily I had some budget to work with, but it was very small. So it was like, we have this finite amount of time. We only have this actor for these number of days, and we have a lot to shoot with them. So we've got a full day. Let's just be. But the again, it's communication. It's letting everybody know ahead of time this is going to be hard, and we got to be ready for it. So you kind of jump into the day with a mindset of this is going to be a hustle day, and everybody's got to do their part. And nobody wants to be the one that kind of like is the wheel that falls off the cart, So everybody's on their A game, and it's like, all right, wrap to that. We got what we needed. Quick, you get into this costume. You get into this costume. All right, we're gonna be over here. This is the 3 shots I have planned out. Sweet. So, but yeah, it takes.
But do you think like making features would be more difficult than the short films? Like in terms of maybe just like a length. I know it's longer and more time, more playing, more budgets. Like, are you enjoy doing
what? The features?
Yeah.
It's the joy. So what do you mean, like? Because it's longer, it's maybe less fun, or
maybe that's how my question is. Like,
because I mean, the longest project that I've been a part of in one of the higher positions, like, because there's that balance there. A short film, like a weekend project or a week-long project, that feels kind of, it feels too short. Like, there's a lot of prep and planning, and it's like a weekend, and it's like, whoa, it's done, it's gone. I guess that was it. I spent a lot of time prepping for that, and now it's over. So the benefit of a feature is like you do a lot of prep, and it kind of you benefit more from it because you're living with it longer. And ideally, if it's going smooth, it's heaven every day in ways where you're like, I'm living my dream. Everybody here wants to be here, and it's a great time. And you're shooting different stuff all the time, so you're still mixing it up, and you're shooting all the stuff. Ideally, is stuff that you're excited to shoot. So it's like interesting different elements of characters each day, and you get to see different interactions play out. And you're like, oh, I really want to see this actor with this actor in this moment. This is a big lead-up moment, so let's play. So it stays interesting, which is nice. And it is nice when everybody gets to sink into it a little bit more, where actors get to dive into the characters more. You get to dive into it with them more versus the short, which is easier, but it's also like, an appetizer.
Is all the director start from short films, or is there anyone who just start from the long projects?
I feel like most. It seems like a lot move to features or longer form really quick.
Yeah.
And I get jealous of that for sure. But I feel like unless you're you got to be in a pretty privileged position to be able to jump straight into making movies. Like, and then I think it's scarier because I work with a lot of, in the indie world, I work with a lot of like first-time directors in like features and stuff. And it is kind of difficult sometimes watching directors. I mean, this is their chance. They're gaining experience and learning on the job on a feature with all this pressure. And I'm like, if you would have done anything prior to this, it would have set you up for this a little bit better. But I know like a lot of like people that go through film school, they have their school projects and they get their thesis done, and then they go on and make features or commercials, and they do just fine. And I'm sure they got a lot of experience from that. But I mean, yeah, I don't know.
But I heard like in TV world, like they hire a director for different episodes, right?
It can be the case, yeah. So the showrunner is the overall glue to the story, and then the director kind of comes in and just kind of like keeps handles that specific episode.
That's interesting, but would you interested in doing TV stuff?
I think being that my big the fun thing about that scenario is it's collaborative in a similar way to I think about like the big superhero movies like Marvel, where there's a bigger story going on. You come in for your one movie, you have fun with it, and you add your little personality spice on it, but it plays in their overarching longer franchise. So when I think about TV, it's like I'm here to service the bigger story, but still I'm allowed. I'm coming. They're bringing me in ideally for a reason. So I'm still adding little touches here and there to moments and making it my own while playing nice with what the story is asking for. Plus, I like the idea of working with actors that know who the characters are, and then everybody like knows what they're doing. So you're kind of just like in there, and it seems kind of cool.
Yeah.
Which we'll see. Hopefully, I mean, that'd be kind of yeah. They're bringing a lot of feature directors down from that world into TV now too.
J.J. Abraham.
Yeah, J.J. Abrams, Taika Waititi. Yeah, so it's kind of like anything goes these days. They want, if you're a good director, if you're a good anything, doors open. So
yeah, that's true. Hopefully someday.
Just be unique, be good, and know who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, let me check here.
How long is your list?
I think we're looking pretty good. So I guess just to clarify for people on when we can talk about, I don't know if anything stands out for you on these projects that are out that you scored that I also directed. There's Popcorn and there's Oak Milk. And then, like I mentioned, there's Mia, Jenny, and also Me, which isn't out yet. But though I love all of the scores. I feel like, because of course.
You use a popcorn theme for this, right?
Popcorn is I use snippets of the popcorn theme for the podcast audio. Yeah, so
okay.
So yes, that was you.
Yeah, I feel like I'm very interested. How to say? I enjoy all the process, and it's really fun to work with you because your work have different humor inside and. You have your own way to say the story. That's really fascinating for me.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I don't know, like I feel like I can just do whatever crazy thing and you will say yes.
Yeah, and that's kind of that's the environment I try to create. Like what I've talked about is especially because I feel like what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to be as unique as possible as well on my side. So I'm like, we gotta have this, like if we're gonna score this, the score also has to stand out in a unique way. So I'm glad that you're open to being like, all right, because like for Popcorn, that one, you in your Facebook post for it, like you talked about it being your first a cappella
Yeah.
score, and
Actually, I was sort of nervous before I sent you the demo. I think I sent you like three or
I
four.
think, yeah.
Yeah.
And a cappella was only one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm very afraid, like you got scared. Actually, I did a lot of different demo for different people.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say lots of people are really scared.
What?
Well, like most people, there's a lot of directors, they say they're open to everything, but they're not actually open to everything.
Yeah, you send it, and then like, actually, let's dial that back. What I'm looking for is some cookie cutter horror sounds. I don't know.
Yeah, so I would say yeah. So I'm very lucky to work on those projects who fits my music. I would say, yeah.
Yes, thanks.
And I very enjoy the process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm glad we're both happy with.
Yeah, and your stuff always have some wisdom, I would say, behind it. Yeah.
Ideally, yeah. There's the messages kind of sneak in there. But yeah, no, Popcorn. So that one was like the a cappella, like I mentioned. That one's really weird and wacky, and I know I've heard lots of good things about that score, for sure. Where it's like it's a character of its own, like that whole kind of thing. Because sometimes, because I've talked to other filmmakers or people that do short form and stuff, and they're like, I'll hear, yeah, like when some just want music to be hidden. You don't want it to stand out. It's there to supplement.
It's just a decoration.
Yeah, it's there to kind of
to fill in the gap.
Because a lot of times when you watch movies, you don't really notice you're being affected by the score, but it's there and it's kind of disguised in ways. But for this, it was like, no, we want to know it's there. It's got to stand out. So that one was fun. And then Oak Milk was like this weird mystery, drama, comedy. And that also had I think a nice unique sound to it as well.
In Oak Milk, I actually record my roommate's bicycle sounds.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure if you noticed, but I recorded lots of weird bicycle behind. Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah, no, I listened to it and I'm like, it sounds, because I don't know what goes into it, and I don't ask about like, hey, can I see the breakdown? but no, that's cool. Like it does sound unique and interesting. It's got its own, or I'll call it organic feel to it, where it does feel.
And for me and Jenny's score, actually, I just want to do whatever I'm classical going up, but I want to. Well, we will see after you release.
Okay, we'll keep it. Yeah, on that one. That one was more in your. I guess when I was asking this of you, I was like, all right, I know strings and that side of the world. There's always, it's your strong foundational point. So I was curious on what that would do, because the prior ones were not in that realm. They were different. But yeah, well, this one will likely be coming out, I'm hoping, in a few weeks. We'll see. I don't know when this episode is dropping, but January. So yeah, hopefully people enjoy that.
Yay! Is that the newest, or are you making another short?
Oh no, one thing I think when I went into that one, my announcement to everybody that was like involved, I think maybe even to you, I was like, hey, this is likely the last short film I'm doing for a while that I'm putting this kind of effort into, because I want to focus on the next feature or the next bigger project, because these take energy to put together.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I got that out of my system. 2020 was a good year for that. Keep it small, keep it easy.
Yeah.
But now it's time to ramp up.
But it's still amazing, like, you keep things working.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's important to me to, because that's the thing with directing too, is it's kind of like what you say, like you're practicing every day, you're keeping like it's a similar thing. If I'm not directing and practicing stuff and experimenting, then I feel like I'm losing some of that, and I'd rather, like, I'm always afraid of, like, all right, I'm going to spend the next year, let's say, on the producer side of things getting a feature ready, and then by the time I'm in the director chair again, it's been a year, 2 years since I've directed anything, and then you're really rusty, and you're really self-conscious, and you're like, that's not a place I want to be. So trying to keep the muscles working is important.
Now, how do you plan for these few projects? You just randomly rolled it, or how did you really have an order or something, and you just came out nowhere and you just do it?
You're talking about like Oak Milk and stuff?
Yeah, like those short films.
Those projects, they vary for sure.
Yeah.
Like Popcorn was inspired by a collaboration with a writer I wanted to work with.
Ah, okay.
So Jamie Keener, my co-writer now, was not my co-writer then. And I was like, hey, I know you're right. Let's like make something together, feel this out.
Oh, okay.
And Popcorn was born out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like a DP I wanted to work with, an actor I wanted to work with, and then it kind of comes together once you have the story and you start pitching it to people. Say, all right, I guess we're making it. Let's do it. And then that gives the excuse to meet and collaborate with new people. Like that's how you came in the picture too. Was, all right, here's an opportunity to connect with people that I want to connect with. But that one was birthed from collaboration with a writer. Oak Milk was, I had a goal at the time to write like 3 short films to produce, and Oak Milk was like the first one that I had written. I'm like, I wrote this one to be producible and make it easy.
Because between then you made another short,
I think
right?
I did.
Yeah.
I don't know if I scored. I don't think that one has a score at all. But yeah, maybe this one was like a second one of that. But I had a goal of just writing some shorts to have in my back pocket. So when I wanted to work with somebody, I was like, hey, let's make this. So that one, I forget why. There's a bigger feature in that I've talked to you about, that I want to make and that I want to get made. And there's a proof of concept version of that I have in mind, and I'm like, I want to test out this specific actress ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, all right, I can cast her in this role. This other guy is really funny. I've never worked with him. So the actors kind of drove me to want to make that one.
Oh.
That one was more actor driven. And then me and Jenny, that one was also actor driven too. Where I was like, all right, I want to collaborate with you, and you seem really gung-ho and really cool. Let's chat about what that could look like. It looks like we're making it. Like that kind of. So usually it's an inspiration through a collaboration.
That's really nice.
And
they look so different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Popcorn and me and Jenny were shot by the same DP.
What? Okay.
Yeah. And that one was fun for him because in Popcorn, it's like, interior apartment and then dumpster. Jenny I wrote in like a beach scene where we're in the water. There's like this exterior outside. So there's like actual, from a cinematic perspective, we can actually mix it up for once and push some stuff. So for him, it was good to get out and get some cool slow-mo, getting hit by waves and stuff. And
I really like it.
yeah, it's cool.
Hopefully people like it too.
Yeah. Yep. But I guess let's close. Let's close on holding you hostage over here. What are you looking forward to most in 2021? What's
Hopefully all the projects goes well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because some still looking for funding. It's the hardest part, I would say.
I hear about those.
Yeah, but yeah, hopefully everything goes well and good things will come, I would say. A new year.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat for sure, where it's like I limped through the end of 2020, made it into 2021, and we're here. And there's hope in the air on things in the film world specifically. Like hopefully there's some consistency of work that can start manifesting itself, where it's like, all right, the world is what it is, and we're able to kind of work within it, or things chill out a little bit and we can.
Yeah.
Because that's been the frustrating thing for me. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but it's been like I've lived in LA a little over 2 years now, and I feel like I've had to restart from the ground up like a bunch of times, where it's like, all right, move to a new city, network, collaborate, get your contacts, get gigs going. All right, cool, we're building up to it. And then I made my feature. So I took a lot of time off to make the movie, and then by the time I came back, I was like, do people even see me as a script supervisor anymore? Because I've been posting all about being a director and making my movie. I got to restart again. All right, let's rebuild a little bit.
Oh, so you cannot do both in the same time?
Well, directing that, like I had to take, like I was directing full time for weeks, and then I was in. So just even like as a social media message thing, like I was putting myself out there as a director a lot. And people in this town like to, box you into like, all right, I see you as a script supervisor. I'm never going to hire you as a director, and vice versa. So, So I feel like there's an element of I was always putting myself out there as not a script supervisor. There's no reason. So anyway, I had to get that going again with like, I'm a script supervisor. Hello, hire me, that kind of stuff. And I was ramping that up. 2020 started off really good, and then COVID. And then I was like, rebuild all over again. So it's just, it would be nice to, get back
because
into,
lots of my friends leave Los Angeles.
They left?
Yeah, and I'm not sure will they come back. I'm not sure, but hopefully they will come back.
What kind of positions were they?
Well, mostly not composers and musicians.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because actually, I feel like it's good and bad at the same time. A good way is most of people can remote doing work, right?
Yeah.
And of course, as a composer, we remote doing work. But for session musicians, usually before pandemic, they would go to a studio to record. Of course, the quality is much better if you record in studio. But now, like, people need to do recording at home. So it's sort of different. Yeah. But it's a good way. So they left, but they can have a very low temp living, but they can also make the money here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really good. But in the sad side, I'm not sure if they will come back because they're my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had plenty of people make those jumps too, because a lot of people
Can you guys do remotely?
No.
Okay.
It depends. If the production is built for it, and that's the entirety of the plan of attack. Like I was pitched a gig that I ended up not getting, but have you seen those movies like they take place on like a computer screen and it's like Skype videos and Zooms
yeah.
and YouTube, and so they're going to do something like that where it's like all on a computer screen, so they're going to pretty much shoot it that way too. It's like we don't. So I was going to be a script supervisor remotely, where I guess I was just going to be here at my apartment and like watching stuff on my laptop and making notes. That I wasn't quite sure how it was going to work because I've never done it that way. Because a lot of my job is the direct interaction with. I need to be able to communicate with the actors. I need to be able to talk with the DP and the AD and the director and kind of know what's going on. So I can kind of like keep an eye out for stuff in production. I'm in every department there is. So I'm like, wait, I'm only doing like a fraction of my job, which is a weird position to be in. It's not quite as fun, but yeah. Anyway.
Well, that's nice.
What, easy?
Yeah, like still
having the option.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was going to give it a shot. I'm like, yeah, let's see how this works. What is this? How do you make a movie like this? Like, that was all very interesting to me. But alas.
But you're the only one who didn't do the COVID-related film. Like, lots of my friends are doing COVID-related.
It is not. It is.
No?
Nope. I just go based off what I want to watch.
Okay.
And I do not want to watch COVID films. I do not. The humor isn't funny. It's sad.
Yeah, it is.
And I don't want to watch something that makes me sad about a world I'm currently. Film is an escape for me, and if I'm watching a drama about, domestic abuse in a COVID home or whatever the case may be, like I don't know.
So you think a film is the how to say material to make the world better?
I like sure. I like the idea of I'm a lighter tone guy normally. So yeah, I ideally I'm able to deliver a nice wholesome message and make you chuckle and laugh or be like uncomfortable in like an awkward way. Like I love awkward. But yeah, so like when I talk about Marvel and like my dream directing job would be making a Marvel movie. Those movies are seen by more people watch those movies than like any other movies in the world. So you're impacting a lot of people. There's a lot you can do with that kind of outreach, and I watch those because it's like superheroes are fun, and that kind of world is fun, and you can it's an escape.
Yeah, it is.
It's an escape. Makes me happy.
Yeah, happy is the most important thing. Yeah.
Happy is good. So yeah, that's what I try to do. Just be weird and be happy and mix it up a little bit. Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. I think we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Thanks for being on. I did want to give a shout out to your toe socks. I don't know many people that I don't have toe socks.
Where did you get one?
I saw some at the store and I'm like, I heard they're kind of snuggy. You mentioned you heard that they're good for you in some capacity.
Yeah.
I don't know how they.
I haven't really. I don't know. I will tell you after a few months.
You'll report back.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you're okay, sounds good. On that note, where can people find you and follow and keep up with or hire you, whatever the case may be? Where do we?
And watch our film.
Yes, and watch the film. It's called Me, a Jenny, and Also Me. But yeah, Instagram. What's your tag? Or where do you?
whatever.
What's your website?
What was it? I just search corachung.com. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right.
you.
Bye.